Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a request from a subscriber by the name of Obleview. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I apologize. He asked, can you do a track tutorial for Blender and After Effects? Now, I'm assuming he means a track from Blender to After Effects, and I'm assuming he doesn't know how to do a track in Blender. I think that's how it is. At least I'm assuming that because he posted this on my Mocha 3D camera track to Nuke. So I'm assuming he doesn't know how to do a 3D camera track in Blender, but I'll go ahead and do one real quick anyways. I'll go real quick, the basics of what you need to do for a 3D camera track in Blender and getting it over to After Effects. Okay, before we jump into Blender, one thing you need to install in Blender is an add-on. This add-on right here, which I will actually put in a link in the description below, so you can just download it. It's a Python file, .py, IO export After Effects.py. Again, I'll put that in link below, and you can just download it and install it into Blender. Now, how do you install it into Blender? You go up to Edit, Preferences, and click Install, and then you go find that file. And there it is, IO export After Effects Python. Go ahead and click install, and it will show up if you type in After. There you go. This is what it looked like. Go ahead and turn that thing on, and you're pretty much ready to go. So the next thing you need to do is get to tracking mode. Now you can come up here to the plus symbol and click Visual Effects, and what you want is motion tracking. Okay, so for the most part you won't need these two. In all the tutorials that I've seen, you get rid of these two. Windows, I actually like having them on because this shows your graph showing how your tracks are doing, and then this shows your camera view. All right, so let's go ahead and drop our footage in here. We're going to go ahead and use the warehouse scene that I've been using for all of my stuff. So let's go ahead and find that real quick. It is under my camera 3D warehouse. There it is. So let's go ahead and grab this warehouse scene here. All right, so there we go. We have our warehouse scene. Let's go ahead and prefetch this. What this is doing is loading it into memory. While it's doing that, let's go set our range for 200. Okay, so from 1 to 200. All right, so once we've done those two things, this should be loaded into the RAM player, so we'll be able to scrub back and forth real easy. Now, again, this is a real quick tutorial on how to do 3D tracks in Blender. There's a lot more information here and here that you can go through. I can go through it some other time in a 3D tracking Blender tutorial if you want, but for now, this is kind of a quick start guide. All right, Control-click brings up your tracking data information. All right, so use your scroll wheel to zoom in. The standard S for scale, G for grab, and that will track your point there. All right, there really isn't an automated tracking system that's really good for this. It's much more accurate if you went ahead and put your own tracking dots in here. So we're just going to go ahead and use these buttons down here to track. So the center button tracks all the way to the end, just like that. And then when you get one done, lock it by Control-L. All right, that way it won't take in account. It won't track when you track the next point. You need a minimum of 6 points. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick and fast forward everything so you don't have to watch me do every single one. Okay, while I'm doing this, I'm going to show you something real quick. This up here is very important information. Synthesize has this setup, which is really nice, where this background you see is red, which means there's not enough information to do a proper track. It'll go from, I believe, red to orange to gray, whereas Synthesize goes from red, yellow, green. I wish this one did that too, but once this turns gray, that means we have enough tracking dots on here to get it solved. So I'll get back to it. As you can see, it now turned yellow. That means I'm definitely getting into the range of more tracking dots. So it knows it can get an easier solve. Again, let's go to gray for that. Okay, now we are gray over here. So that means there's plenty of tracking dots in there to create a solve. All right, so let's go ahead and save this before something bad happens. Let's go to, all right, and now how do we solve it? Let's go ahead and hit the solve button tab right here and just hit solve. Alrighty, here is our solve error pixel, which is just like it is on Mocha that I showed you before. So it is 0.06. That's a really good solve here. So as you can see, there's our solve. Now we need to create a layout over here so that it looks right. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this box and then set up our solve information. First, we need to find our origin. All right, and just like in our 3D Mocha tutorial, I'm going to make this my origin. So click on that. And then I need to make my floor. So we need a minimum of 3 items on the floor. So go ahead and get this as set on floor. There we go. And now we want to go ahead and set our scale. So this between here and here, I believe was 3.6, which is about 12 inches, I think, in meters. Okay, we want to go ahead and set that. Okay, now that we got it leveled, let's go ahead and rotate it. And hit that one right there. Set it on the x-axis. Set the origin. Set this to the x-axis. So it rotates. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and export this camera to After Effects. We'll grab our camera, export, and down here you have this After Effects JSX, which is basically JavaScript, and we'll go ahead and throw that in there, save it someplace, and now let's go to After Effects. So we got ourselves our warehouse footage right here. All right, so what we do here now is go to File, Scripts, Run Java, find that JavaScript file, name it whatever you want. We can just leave that. And there we go. So now we have our camera. So let's go ahead and drop our warehouse footage in there. And switch these so we can see the color a little bit better. Go with yellow, and we'll go ahead and shrink it down a bit. So there we go. Well, that's how you get a blended track into After Effects. So if you have any questions, leave a comment somewhere and I'll try to get back to you. So until then, I'll see you around and have a good day.